Hello, Mini.Ra here. I'll be the voice presenter for this video. Let's go over the basics of Amethyst before getting into farming. Amethyst can be grown and obtained in geodes. These geodes generate in the overworld and are actually quite common. You can probably find a few when mining around for a little while. These geodes are made out of smooth basalt, calcite, and blocks of amethyst. Blocks of amethyst have around an 8% chance of generating as budding amethyst. These blocks slowly grow amethyst clusters on all 6 sides of the block, assuming those sides are unobstructed. These clusters go through 4 stages until fully grown. This process can take up to 3 hours. When fully grown, these clusters can be broken to obtain amethyst shards. When broken, these clusters will always drop 2 shards. However, when broken manually with a pickaxe, you'll be able to get 4 shards, and with fortune you can get up to 16 shards per cluster. The unfortunate thing about budding amethyst is that you can't obtain or move it. This means amethyst has to be farmed directly at the geode, which makes farming amethyst an awful lot harder. Now that you know the basics, let's get into farming methods. The seemingly preferred method is a fully automated setup. Unfortunately though, this method is often very impractical. Let's explore why and offer alternative methods. The first major issue is the random arrangement of budding amethyst blocks, making it impossible to have a set design. It also makes it near impossible to collect every cluster on the budding amethyst blocks. Not only is it hard to get your setup to break every single cluster in every cycle, but also to collect all the items. Automatic amethyst farms tend to be resource heavy, due to every amethyst budding block needing its own wiring. Geodes also generate underground, meaning you need to dig out a huge area to make room for your wiring. All these factors make setting up an automatic farm a huge pain, with little reward. Another major issue is the drop rate of clusters. As we've established earlier, amethyst being broken by pistons only gets you 2 shards. This is an extremely low amount compared to the average of 8.9 shards you can get with fortune. Let's make a comparison to truly understand the inefficiency of shard farms. According to the math done by Ilmango, having a 167-minute clock is the most optimal time. So without considering all of the factors above, it'd still take 12 hours and 38 minutes for an automatic setup to get the same amount of shards you'd get from manually farming a geode once. But considering all the other factors, it'd probably take over a full day. All in all, automatic amethyst farms aren't practical at all. Another common way of farming amethyst is moving a player around. This way, you can get the benefit of fortune. Collection also becomes less of a problem, since the player can act as storage, and the player will be able to immediately mine a cluster when it's fully grown and only when it's fully grown, adding a lot to the efficiency as well. This all might sound pretty neat, but there's one factor that drags this down significantly. This factor being the difficulty of applying such a setup to a geode. You need to make sure the player can't break the budding blocks, while trying to make the player able to mine as many full-grown clusters at once. Most setups using players don't even get a third of the clusters, so considering this, and the fact that you need a player, makes setups like this impractical in most situations. The last farming method I'll go over is a fully manual setup. Simply going in the geode after an AFK session and mining the clusters yourself. This takes by far the least effort to set up, yet makes up the most efficient method. One normal sized geode can get you up to a full shulker box of shards every other hour. The danger of breaking a budding amethyst block, and the fact that you have to break the clusters manually, drag this method down by a little bit. Not as much as other methods though. After all, this is the intended method according to Mojang. Let's go over how to set up a geode for this method of farming. First, try to find one or more geodes in an area that's commonly loaded by players, like a base or a farm you AFK at a lot. These geodes will fill up with clusters without you having to AFK for them specifically. Then dig out the budding amethyst blocks, making sure all the sides of said blocks are exposed, unless it's covered by another budding amethyst block of course. Digging it out from the top, layer by layer, felt like the safest way to me. After you're done, let the clusters grow for a while. When they've grown, you can try to collect them. I suggest you make scaffolding around the room so you can easily reach every cluster. Don't worry about the budding amethyst, nothing will affect the cluster growth as long as you don't place a block directly next to it. Another suggestion is to not use efficiency on your pickaxe. Just try to avoid instantly breaking one of the amethyst blocks. When you've broken all the clusters and placed your scaffolding, you're done. Make sure to visit your geode once in a while to collect the shards. If you like the voiceover style, have any suggestions or ideas, make sure to let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next time.